To all the non-believers, 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 non-believers. I'm making out.
What's up, y'all? This is Jay Varsity, and welcome to another episode of NBA Talk. This is episode 123, and happy holidays to all. Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, whatever you guys celebrate. I hope you guys are spending time with your families. I hope you guys are being safe and all that other good stuff. We're gonna go over and I'm gonna give my breakdowns of the Christmas Day games and from yesterday. I know they weren't as exciting as people wanted them to be. As a matter of fact, I didn't think the games were as good to begin with, and this was pretty much the result. Pretty much every team I thought that was gonna win won yesterday. So I'm gonna give my breakdown on it. If you guys have any disagreements of what I gotta say, you might as well write in the comments below. Just let me know know how you guys feel. And I'm generally open to a lot of opinions. And yeah, that's just about it. The first game I'm gonna go over, which was the first game of the day, which was the New Orleans Pelicans against the Miami Heat. From the Miami Heat standpoint, the Miami Heat they played good defense on Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, and Duncan Robinson caught fire from three. Matter of fact, he had led the record for most threes on a Christmas Day game until Kyrie broke it just a couple hours later. But I'm gonna get into that later. On the Pelican standpoint, Brandon Ingram and Zion were really meshing in this game. They really seem to know how to share the scoring load, and they know how to use each other's abilities to their advantage. Zion's rebounding ability to get second chance buckets, and Brandon Ingram's ability to create his own offense. Basically the offense ran through the both of them, and that's what led to them being remotely close in this game until, like I said, the Miami Heat just caught fire, and Duncan Robinson led the charge. Defensively, the Miami Heat stopped Brandon Ingram from getting those one-on-one matchups, and every time he drove to the lane, he always ran into a couple bodies, whether it was Bam Adebayo, Mo Harkless, and then you got the debut of Avery Bradley, who played actually really good in this game. He played great defense. He hit his spot up shots. He hit his spot up threes, and overall, it was just a great team effort from Miami. Unfortunately, Jimmy Butler ended up having to leave the game. He ended up hurting his ankle. Who knows? Hopefully, that's just a day-to-day thing, and we'll just see where he goes from here. So anyway, good win by Miami, and Miami is 1-1 in the season. The second game I want to get into. Oh my God! Well, this was hard to watch. This game was hard to watch. I'm pretty sure everybody had picked the Bucks to beat the Warriors yesterday, but the fashion in which they demolished Golden State, that was just sad to watch. That was just really sad to watch, especially from what we know from watching Golden State through the years. We knew they weren't going to be that dominant again, but geez, to be this bad, to not be able to score 100 points in the first two games, that's just alarming to me. And I get it. It's the first two games, and people have said, oh, be patient with the Warriors and all this other stuff. But I don't understand what is the offensive structure with this team. Like, I don't understand. Like, Steve Kerr is still trying to run the same offense as if he still has the same personnel from 2016. You have a whole different type of personnel now. You actually have a big man that can shoot. Utilize an offense so that James Wiseman gets proper touches. He stretches the floor. He could hit the three. You need to create some form of a pick and pop offense with Steph and James Wiseman for the time being until the next season when you have him, Clay, and Dre. Like, I know Draymond is not going to be out for an entire year, but the offense needs to change somewhat until you get Klay Thompson next year, because you're not going to have a free flow offense when none of these guys are free flowing as is. I saw a lot of just standing around waiting to see what was going to happen, and a lot of prayer shots that they were trying to force to go in. And the way to get stomped the way they did, and at the same time that you can't guard anybody on planet Earth because that was just the most poor defensive performance I've ever seen. And you had Chris Middleton again looking like as if he was Michael Jordan, pulling up from three, pulling up from three, hitting these tough mid-range shots. They were just playing around with the Warriors at one point, and Giannis didn't even have a crazy game, and it still looked like a holiday massacre. Stephen Curry put up 19 points, and they were the most irrelevant 19 points through the whole game. The Warriors are gonna have a lot of adjusting to do, and it's just hard to watch because their third game is gonna be against the Clippers, and that was just. I think they're practically gonna start the season 0. They're gonna start 0-5, and that's not a good look. And they have so much promise. This is why losing Clay, it hurts even more to see Golden State like this, because you want to see Steph and Clay back so badly. And I understand a lot of people, including myself, we didn't like seeing that dominant Warriors team with Kevin Durant and all that. But you at least want to see Steph and Clay. At least you want to see Steph, Clay, and Draymond, the original three that were on this team. They were the ones that originated and drafted there, and you want to at least see them be together again. It's like, wow. And the Bucks standpoint, I'm not gonna lie to you. The Bucks, even though they blew out Golden State, defensively this team is not that good. This team is not gonna be that good. I'm giving my hot take there as is, because when they start playing these elite teams, they're gonna have trouble guarding some of these elite teams that have elite scoring talent. And then the offense, I have to say right here, Giannis has a huge problem. Giannis has a huge problem, because now everybody is using the same strategy on Giannis Antetokounmpo that the Toronto Raptors and the Miami Heat have done to prevent them from scoring, and that's building a wall around Giannis. That they basically they have three defenders basically cutting off the free throw line, so Giannis doesn't try to do that patented spin move of his, and he can't find a way to spin and power his way through and get easy dunks. And that's going to be the strategy. And Giannis shooting, he's going to have to rely a lot more on trying to actually shoot the ball so that he doesn't get that spacing, because they're not going to give him that space. And that's another thing with the Milwaukee Bucks team. This team's spacing is terrible. The team spacing is terrible. Everybody's just standing out. Everybody's just standing out on the perimeter. Like, you need to get somebody to work inside. Giannis can't be the only one that works inside. Brook Lopez absolutely looks like he's lost out there. He could absolutely work in the paint and try to draw in more defenders so that Giannis has a little bit more freedom. You're letting them just build that wall so that Giannis gets stuck, and that's why he gets so many turnovers and so many offensive fouls get called on him. This is why it puzzled me that Giannis signed so easily with this Milwaukee Bucks team, because I don't see no adjustments with Mike Budenholzer. He's still trying to run the same offense like last year. This offense is predictable. It is absolutely predictable, and teams are figuring it out. Now, Chris Middleton, if he could have games like this where Giannis is getting trapped and he puts up 31 a night and they manage to win games, then I would be happy for Chris Middleton. His value will go up. But as of right now, this Milwaukee Bucks team, when they play these elite teams, they're going to be very, very predictable, and they're going to lose a lot of games if they keep going this way. And it's not going to look very good for their title hopes. But aside from that, congratulating them on the win yesterday. I mean, you gave a beat down to a really bad team. Now on to the third game of the day, the Brooklyn Nets against the Boston Celtics. This was actually one of the matchups that I was really looking forward to. I was really looking forward to this matchup. But then I did remember that Kemba Walker is hurt, and I kind of already thought from the jump that Brooklyn was gonna win, like even with a healthy roster. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been critical of KD and Kyrie, but I was very, very happy with what I saw. I love the way these two are meshing. Like, these two are meshing from the jump. I'm really loving what I'm seeing. They just know when to defer to the other. Kyrie caught fire in this game. Like I said, Duncan Robinson had the record for most threes on the Christmas Day game, and then Kyrie broke it just maybe just 2 hours later. He put up 7 threes of his own. He had 37 for the night. KD had 29, and they just looked so effortless. He took every one-on-one matchup. He was cooking Tatum. He was cooking Jaylen Brown. He was cooking Marcus Smart. They made the Boston Celtics look so irrelevant, and Boston was just looking like they were having trouble scoring. And if it wasn't Tatum shooting the ball, they didn't know who else to run the offense through. Because for as great of a game that Jaylen Brown had against the Bucks, they couldn't run the offense through him against the Nets. And basically, Kyrie and KD took over single-handedly and outscored. They outscored the Boston Celtics in the second half, just the two of them alone. And like I said, I was really glad with what I saw. And I'm just gonna make myself clear. I like Kyrie as a basketball player. He's an amazing basketball player. He's one of the best. He's one of the most skilled guards I've ever seen. I don't like hearing the media talk bad about him either. But my thing is, when he makes some of these quotes, it sometimes gets a little hard to defend him, and it kind of turns me the other way when I hear him make some of these comments about not answering the media and then trying to make all these mythological quotes and all that. It's like he kind of throws me off. But it's an adjusting thing. But skill-wise, he's one of the best guards I've ever seen. Like he's the closest thing to Allen Iverson that I've ever seen, bro. I like Kyrie Irving's game. Is he a first option? Hell no. But he's the best second option you can have, bro. He's the best second option you can have. He could easily give you 40 at any given time if he's the second option. And to me, I think KD has to thank his lucky stars that Kyrie Irving is with him right now, because Kyrie is going to be putting in that work, because he's going to be getting one-on-one matchups all day long, and he's going to cook whoever's in front of him. So the Brooklyn Nets, they're looking really good right now. They're 2-0. It's only 2 games in the season. We have to see how they keep going against the elite teams in the Eastern Conference, but so far so good. New York has a really good basketball team. That's one thing I thought I would never say for a very long time. Let's see. The next matchup, the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic, I had him as my favorite to win MVP. It's only been 2 games, but so far the Mavericks are they're 0-2. And he tried to hold his own against the Lakers, but this game was more about how great Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroeder was last night. Because LeBron put up 22, Anthony Davis put up 28, but it was just how amazingly that Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroeder were able to pick apart the Mavericks was what amazed me. And it shows you how deep this Lakers team is. They're great defensively. On offense, they're gonna score. They're gonna score a whole bunch of points. They have guys who could create their own offense. And this Lakers team is gonna be very, very scary later on down the road. This is why I have the Lakers repeating this year. Even though, like I said, I like the Brooklyn Nets. I like seeing what they're doing. But I think this Lakers team, talent-wise, is gonna outshine Brooklyn. They're gonna outshine Brooklyn. LeBron obviously is the best passer in the game. He knows how to find his guys, and AD, he knows when to take over, and especially defensively. This Laker team could take over defensively. So I like what I saw. They knew where to stop Luka at points in time. They put multiple defenders on him, whether it was KCP, LeBron, Dennis Schroeder. You even had AD on him at sometimes. They switched it up. They have the size. They have the quickness. They have the youth because they got younger from last year. It was just good. It was just good to see. It was a dominating win in the second half, and it was just ball game from there. And then, last but not least, we had a rematch of the Western Conference semis. between the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. And I'm not going to lie, I was critical of it at first, but the lineup that the Clippers have with Nicholas Batum at the 4 and Serge Ibaka at the 5, I really do like it. I do like it in a defensive standpoint. It's a very good stretch lineup. It's practically their death lineup, to tell you the truth, and it just really bothers teams that all five people in that lineup can shoot from deep. Two of those guys can create their own offense. Serge Ibaka is a great shot blocker, and he's a great defender overall. And Kawhi Leonard, we know what Kawhi can do. PG has been great so far in the first 2 games. I truly hope he does bounce and improve me wrong, because I've been highly critical of Paul George for the last couple of years. I hope he really does shut me up and finally just says, "Hey, bro, I'm fine. I'm taking over again. Now, just can you stop being critical of me now? At least in the postseason, I like being proven wrong. I like being proven wrong. I just don't like when you have to jump on an extremely stacked team in order to prove me wrong, aka Kevin Durant. But Kevin Durant also is showing that he hasn't slowed down at all from the Achilles injury, which I'm very happy to see. I'm very happy to see that. But yeah, when it comes to the Clippers, the Denver Nuggets try to make it a game, but the Clippers learn from their mistakes on how not to blow leads, at least so far this season in these 2 games. And they've just been a lot smarter. They're being a lot more patient. Kawhi Leonard suffered an injury. He had to get stitches last night after accidentally running into Serge Ibaka's elbow. It was a very ugly scene to see. You saw blood on the floor and everything. I hope Kawhi is not suffering some serious damage. Hopefully he recovers soon. But the Clippers, like I said, they're being a lot more patient. You're seeing a lot of running the ball through PG, and you're seeing how more fluent that they're running, and it's starting to look nice. It's starting to look really nice right now. And I know I really hated the Clippers last year, but I just didn't like their cockiness. But they look like they're a little more humble. They're a little more. They're starting to respect teams a little more, and they're going to start taking these games a little more seriously. Not to the point that they're like playoff games, but more like getting that chemistry together and getting towards what could be team success in the playoffs. For Denver's side, Denver, I think the absence of Jeremy Grant was just proven right there in that game against the Clippers. This is how much you miss Jeremy Grant. He was the one that you could have thrown on Kawhi Leonard, onto Paul George, and he was that switch guy. He could stretch the floor, and he was that key piece to what it was for that playoff run, and you saw his absence right there during that game. Jamal Murray and Jokic tried to do everything they could. It was just they couldn't stop the Clippers' firepower. The Clippers were out for blood in this game. They wanted revenge for that playoff loss, and they said, we might as well get you on the second game of our season. And we'll see what goes on from here, because, yeah, these Christmas games, it's only the second game of the season, y'all. It's only the second game of the season. That feels so weird to say that Christmas game was the second game of the season. So we'll see how the season keeps progressing from here. I'll try to see if I'm gonna put up another video at some point later on in time. I'm gonna try to do at least Mondays and Fridays for these weekly videos when it comes to the NBA, because like I said in my last video, there's so many things that go on in the NBA at the exact same time, and it's just too much to keep up with. I can't make an individual video for each and every one, but yeah, I believe I covered everything I needed to cover when it comes to Christmas Day. I hope you guys keep enjoying the games and keep enjoying the holidays, and I hope you guys stay safe and have a good one. This is your boy Jay Varsity. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell if you like basketball content. And I'm out. Peace.
We got some non-believers out there.
Make believers out of non-believers. Make believers out the overseers. Make them bow down when they